Hey everyone, and welcome back to Authentic Worth Publishing, bringing worth back into you through storytelling and book writing. I want to take this opportunity once again to thank you to my recent subscribers. You are so welcome on this channel. I'm really hoping that you've been able to go through our various videos and topics and have found the videos useful in the season that you are in on your writing journey. In today's video, I want to talk about understanding how you can structure your first book as an author. Now, most of the times when I'm dealing with clients that are looking to write their first book, the first thing that we notice is the structure, and in other words, also known as the outline of a book. So for example, if the author wants a forward writer, if they want an introduction, a preface, contents page, very vital, etc. And then the chapters will flow. There'll be an epilogue, a conclusion, a bibliography, a reference page, glossary. There's not one size fits all. But depending on the nature and the topic of your book, you have to make sure that the structure is very easy for your readers. So for myself, I write a lot of non-fiction books, but we do publish a lot of non-fiction and fiction books. And non-fiction books and fiction books are different. So when you think about the story that you want to bring about to your community, first of all, ask yourself, what would you like the book to do for your readers? So for a non-fiction author, having an introduction is very important. Having a preface is important. It's optional, but an introduction and possibly a forward contributor is also essential. And that forward contributor is someone that promotes your book more for people to want to read it. And it's someone that personally knows the author. So when I think about my forward contributors, they are people that I know personally and they know me. And depending on the nature of the topic, they will be even more excited to talk about it and emphasize why the book should be read. And that is a way to add more value to a book. If you notice, books that you may have right now that are non-fiction may have some forward contributors, or they may not have any forward contributors. But either way, structure is important. And structure is to do with how you outline your work. There is a video on our TikTok channel, Authentic Worth, that speaks about outlining of a book. And it describes it in great detail. Very brief, but very up to date. And I do encourage you to watch it when you have the time. But when it comes to structuring your first book, it's about, again, understanding your target market. I speak about this a lot in my previous videos about knowing your target audience and understanding what they want from you and your book. Remember that your book is a gift to your community. And when you have the right target audience and you know what they want, they are able to understand the structure. Some writers right now have great ideas, but they're not structuring their work properly. They're starting off with the chapters, but the headings are not complete. And that's another thing. If you've got 8 chapters and you don't have headings for them, it's going to be very difficult to understand what the book means. And this is what we look for when it comes to structuring a book. Number one, the title of your book is very important because the title is a reflection of each subheading per chapter. So if you want to talk about HR, then you need to understand what the pros and cons are of HR in the working environment. You need to understand employment rights, contract law, for example. Or if you want to write a book about healing, it could be healing and mental well-being, physical well-being, financial well-being, social well-being, psychological well-being. All these areas people want to learn. Your book is a resource that people will benefit from if you know how to structure it well. Another key tip is allowing your readers to express themselves in the book, giving readers structure. There's a book and a journal that I'm currently reading, but it's actually a journal combined in a book. And I love it so much. And it talks about your thoughts. Write down what you believe this means to you. In the next couple of years, where will you be at this time, etc. And it makes it so detailed that as a reader, I'm engaging so much with the book. And when it's done, I'll go back on it and read everything that I have written because that gives me the opportunity to reflect. And the writers knew what they were doing because they want to interact with their readers. There are some books that have so much words and there's no time to pause and reflect. And books in our generation are very vital, but they also need to be easily read, whether it's online, whether it's via audio, whether it's paperback or hardback. We don't want a book that is overwhelming or too jargon-based or too much words. You want the structure to be simple. There are times where we may not even have moments to sit down and read a book one-off because life is so busy. When it comes to structuring your book, it's very important to know and learn how to do it with ease. Think about it yourself. If you're in a certain situation and you want to learn about a specific topic, do you really want to take the time to read an 800-page book? Depending on what the topic is though, it will take some time. You want to get the answer straight away. You might even more or less likely use YouTube and just type the question and it will probably come up in a video. And that's what we do. These videos are here to help you, to educate you on how to structure your book. And it should never be hard for you as an author or a writer or even a creative to structure that book and to find ways to refine it. If you think about the first few chapters, that could be the beginning stages. And the middle stages could be chapters 4 to 6. And the ending stages could be 7 to 9, where you are concluding. And then you have a summary. And that's how you close a book. You open it with a brief introduction, you close it with a conclusion. And they are relatable to each other. If someone says to you, "What is your name?" you can't now say "the sun is shining." There's no correlation. But you have to be specific to what you want to give your audience when it comes to structuring your book. And I want to ask you right now, if you are an author or a writer or a creative, write down in the comment section, how do you define structuring your book? Or in other words, how have you structured your book if you have a book? How easy has it been for you? Because I know it's not always easy for some. And this is the reason why we encourage community groups and community writers groups for that matter, where we can all come and grow together and learn. And when I started my book writing journey, I didn't straight away have a group to learn about writing, but I did attend workshops. I was a very independent writer who was responsible and accountable for my writing journey, and it worked out. And through my experiences of writing, I've now been able to encourage others to start writing their own books. And now we've created a community for business owners and authors to join us via our Authentic Worth memberships. And those memberships involve monthly seminars on writing, but different topics within the creative sector. And we want you to be a part of that. One of our recent clients also mentioned that they are looking to go on retreats and attend online seminars to improve their writing because they prefer working together collectively. And that's what we do. So we encourage you as authors, as creatives, as writers, to be around like-minded writers. And they don't have to necessarily be where you're based. You can find virtual writers anywhere, and genuine ones for that matter. So I do encourage you, if you struggle with structure, work with other writers, be in community groups, invest in a coach, invest in a book mentor. They are there for you. And so are we as a business. We don't want readers to feel like they're struggling to understand your story because you want to write so much, but it's not in the right order. I remember when I was early in the stage of writing, I was very mindful of the size of my book. I said to myself, oh, I don't want my book to be too small. I want it to be quite thick, but they're not too thick and they're not too thin. But I realized that what really matters is the content inside the book, what the book involves and entails. And I'm so grateful that the majority of books that we've published, including myself, have been the right size for the target market that we are aiming for. It's not about producing a 900-page book and people are still struggling because they're trying to even get to page 20. They've barely hit the quarter of the book. And we want to encourage you to take your time as you find ways to structure your book. Structuring a book can take time. And that's why monthly accountability coaching sessions are essential. If you feel like you're struggling in a certain chapter or several chapters, find a book coach that can help you and grow with you and give you advice on what you can do to help you make your book stronger. Another top tip is also giving each chapter special treatment. And what I'm referring to is let every chapter that you write be enticing. Let it be appealing. Even if that's having your title and then a subtitle at the bottom to really emphasize what that chapter means and potentially a quote that resonates with that chapter. One of the things I love about writing is not just having the title alone, but adding more emphasis to it to find out what I can contribute to that chapter to make it more stronger. Depending on the nature of your book, you may not have to have a subheading or anything to add on to it. But as long as each chapter sounds relatable to the main title of the book, you are good. But don't feel overwhelmed by the process. Remember, only you know the topic that you want to talk about, and you know your target audience more than we do. So think about it. If you want to write a book about wellness, what do you personally know about wellness? What experiences have you encountered in the past or even presently that you can share with your community? Are you someone that does retreats for wellness? You can talk about that and the benefits of it and what it means to you as an individual. You've been able to take time off social media. That's also another form of mental wellness. And you can talk about that in your book, about having a balanced life offline and online is essential to one's mental and emotional well-being. Or relationships and friendships and how they have helped you to become the person you are today. You can also find ways to include that in the book and make it easily relatable to your audience. How to structure a book should not be hard. You have to think about the experiences that you've been through that can help you contribute to the nature of your story. Again, I go back to my experiences and I think about the title of my books, but also what I want it to include. And if you go on authenticworth.com/books, you will see all the books that I've written and the chapters that follow suit. And you can see that they relate very well. To say that my first book, It's Time to Heal, is coming up to 8 years, it honestly blows me away. This year, my first baby is 8 years old. My recent book that I published not too long ago, which I'll be talking about very soon, is also a book that will help you in your relationships. And when I think about the journey from 2016 till present, it is so encouraging because every book has structure. And I had to sit down and brainstorm why I chose the topic, why I chose the title, and how it can resonate with my community. And you will know your community by those who ask questions and buy the book and wants to know you as an author. As an author, you have key advantage to helping other people write their books by your experience. And you can help them structure it. And you will know when it's structured well because it flows. You're not talking about A, then you jump to D, then F, then P, then C, then Q. No, you want it to be an orderly flow. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, etc. You don't want to confuse your readers and give them too much to think about. A book is meant to be read with ease. And if your book is not read with ease, and in particular, if you don't understand the nature of your book or you don't understand the structure of your book, that is a red flag. Before I birth this book out into the world, let me be genuine with myself and ask, is it really ready? And I'm not even focusing on the book cover yet. This is just the content inside the book first. At some point, I probably will talk about book covers because they are as important as structuring a book. What is included in the book truly matters. And I really want this video to be as simplistic and easy as it can be for you to understand and apply. So when you think about writing, whether you use Microsoft Word or you use Google Docs, whatever platform you're using, take your time. If you need to write bullet points down first to get your structure or at least an outline, that's great. And I do encourage that. When it comes to your chapter subheadings, bullet points are great, or just little paragraphs of what you can see that book becoming. If you're writing a children's book, that could be different because it's more to do with the illustrations. But when it comes to a non-fiction book or a fiction book with lots of words, i.e. 30,000, for example, you need to find a way to break down those words so it's not too much for your readers. I love books that are so easy to read, and including line paragraphs. We may not always talk about this, but line paragraphing is very important, formatting and typesetting of a book. You want it to be easy and ensuring that the font is not too small, making sure that the font is a really good size. Most people, by the standard, use 12. But depending on your audience, you can use 14, you can use 16. Some people might even want to go smaller. But either way, make sure that the book is structured first before thinking about the font or anything else. The font will come eventually, but does your book make sense? Is it appealing to the reader? And how are you going to start? These are the key tips on what you can do to structure your first book. It will be great to know so far how you are, or for those who are, of course, structuring their book, how the process is going at the moment. You are very welcome to leave your comments below, and I look forward to going through them as well. If there's any topics that you would like us to discuss, please also let us know in the comment section below, and do give this video a thumbs up and do subscribe so that other people will be able to be notified about these videos that we provide for you as well. In the meantime, we want to say a massive thank you to you and wishing you all the best in your book writing journey. If you want to connect with Authentic Worth, I will be leaving information also in the description bar below for you to get in touch with us. Thank you so much. Until next time, I'll see you in the upcoming video. Take care and all the best with your writing journey. Bye-bye.